Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. And as always, we're back with another massive show for you guys this morning. But before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. So on the show this morning, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the Jadon Sancho situation. Obviously, we brought you the story last night that apparently Jadon Sancho and Erik ten Hag's talks did not go very well, and it looks like he will now leave in January. We will be talking about that. We'll also be talking a little bit about a shock replacement who is being linked up to come in. We'll get into that in a minute, but yeah, I'm speechless on that one. We're also going to be talking about a new shirt sponsorship, which is quite interesting. I'm really interested in this side of things, the business side of Manchester United. We will, of course, be talking about that. And we will also be talking a little bit about Rasmus Højlund, a little bit about, a tiny bit about the takeover, a bit about Antonio Silva, lots to get into. The dog has joined me upstairs. What do you want, dog? Dog, go away. The dog has appeared upstairs. He's not usually allowed up here. Dog, what are you doing? You want to come up here? Come on, up you come. Come on, up. No, okay, the dog doesn't want to come up. He's just come to walk around. What do you want? Do you want to be up here or do you want to go downstairs? Go on, off you go. Go on. All right, he's just sat up by my feet. He doesn't want to leave. Anyway, let's crack on with the show. Maybe the dog will make an appearance. I'll see if I can get him to come up. Cos, come here. Come here. Come on, up you come. No, he doesn't want to come up. He's just looking at me. Oh, here he comes. Oh, there we go. Good boy. You're going to... Oh, good boy. Oh, there he goes. He's off now. Right. Anyway, let's crack on with the show. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this Jadon Sancho situation then, shall we? So, last night there was a story coming out from Chris Wheeler, I believe, who is a UK journalist. No, he's trying to steal my football now. He's trying to steal my football. That's... Call him down, would you? Go on, out. Anyway, there you go. You've seen the dog. Everyone keeps asking to see the dog, so you finally saw the dog. He's made his appearance. Anyway, came up here to steal my football, pretty much. Anyway, let's try and get back to where we were. Right, so Jadon Sancho. There's a story that came out last night from it was from Chris Wheeler in the Mirror, saying that apparently the talks between Erik ten Hag and Jadon Sancho did not go to plan, and it now looks like Jadon Sancho will be leaving the club in January. Obviously, at this point, we don't know where he's going to go. I think his options are relatively limited purely because of the amount of money that he's on, his salary. And there's a story coming out this morning. Obviously, I would have thought the most likely option for him would have been Dortmund. But apparently Sport Bild, which is obviously a very good German outlet, are reporting that Jadon Sancho returning to Borussia Dortmund in January is currently not possible. They cannot afford his salary. And you know what? I think that is going to be an issue for most clubs. He's on 350 grand a week. Who's going to pay him that? The only place in world football that would pay Jadon Sancho 350 grand a week, apart from Manchester United, is Saudi Arabia. I think. I don't think anywhere else would be able to afford that type of money. It's crazy, crazy money. £350,000 per week. It's about £20 million a year. Ridiculous money. But what does that mean for Manchester United? Because obviously they have this massive problem here. We need to get him out of the club because, you know, if you disrespect the manager, you have to go. You know, in Alex Ferguson's day, he wouldn't have stepped foot in Carrington again after that. And I think that's the right decision. You wouldn't. But yeah, we also have now been offered. Now, this is the shock bit. This is obviously the shock replacement in the title, right? We've been offered Anwar Al Ghazi. And people are probably thinking, who the hell is he? He used to play for Aston Villa maybe 5 seasons ago. Not very good player. Very, very average. Not nowhere near the level of Jadon Sancho, let's be honest. And Sancho obviously hasn't even been in form since he's been at Manchester United. But if someone said to me, you can either have Anwar Al Ghazi or Jadon Sancho, I'm taking Jadon Sancho any day of the week, right? He went from Aston Villa to PSV Eindhoven, and then PSV Eindhoven released him last summer. They didn't want him anymore. So he's only 28 years old as well, remember. He's not very old. It's a definite no from me. If those are the types of the players that we're looking at as a replacement, I think that's an absolute joke. I really do. I know he's a free agent. I know obviously the window's closed, but surely Jadon Sancho would be leaving in January. Surely we should just wait until January, make Jadon Sancho play for a couple of months, let him go in January, and then bring in a replacement. That's what I would do. I would not be bringing in Anwar El-Ghazi. Never. But let me know what your thoughts are on that one. Yeah. Carl says he's got a better work rate than Sancho. I mean, yeah, that's probably fair. He probably does. Al says El-Ghazi is probably the Johnny Evans of wingers. Yeah, he probably is. People ask him what the dog's name is. The dog's called Quasi. I'll put it in the chat because you probably won't. Dog's name. There you go. All right, I've just dropped the name of the dog in the chat, and he's named after Quasimodo, which is like Quasimodo. There you go. Right. Anyway, but yeah, let me know what you think about Anwar El-Ghazi. Is he somebody that you would like to see at Manchester United? Do you think he's a good enough replacement for Jadon Sancho? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. For me, definitely not. 100% not. Not a glimmer of hope in that player, personally. You know, somebody who wasn't good enough for Aston Villa was then... that sounds a bit harsh, actually, because Aston Villa are quite good now, but they weren't good when he played for them. They were, you know, mid-table relegation type team. They've only in the last kind of 12 months turned into a good side. And he was there... He left at the end of 2022, so in January 2022, he went to Everton on loan, then went to PSV Eindhoven, and then PSV have just released him. They don't want him anymore. So for me, it's a definite not. I would definitely rather keep Jadon Sancho, personally. Even an unhappy Jadon Sancho is better than Anwar El-Ghazi, in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of you have had it with Jadon Sancho. I know a lot of you want him gone. I know a lot of you have lost the trust and the respect in him, which I completely understand. I get it. It's very difficult, right, for us as fans who love Manchester United to see somebody who's literally had the opportunity to play for, in our opinion, the biggest club in the world, and he's disrespecting it. And I get that, and I get it's frustrating. I completely relate to you guys. I do. Especially, like, you know, me and you, we're all normal people, right? Jadon Sancho, all of these footballers, they're multi-millionaires. To be paid £350,000 a week to play for in one of the top 5 clubs in world football, right? And to be throwing your toys out of the pram and sending for your manager on Twitter, like, that isn't a good look. And it's so hard to win back that respect from me or you. Let me know if you can forgive and forget. But I just think that this isn't the first time this has happened. I think we've had lots of instances where Jadon's been on the pitch and he hasn't tracked back his runs. He doesn't look that bothered. He doesn't look like he wants to give 110% for the team. I think the thing with Jadon, right, I'm going to be completely fair here. I think he's a luxury player. I think if he went to a Manchester City as kind of a bench option that they could have to bring on in certain games, I think that's great. But for Manchester United, where we're obviously not in the same position as Manchester City by way of squad depth, right? We need people who, yes, they might not be as good as Manchester City's team, but they work harder than Manchester City's team. And we just don't do that. We have players, a lot of them, who are quite lazy. And I think, you know what? That's why the manager liked Anthony so much, because Anthony, I know, yes, he didn't do that great, but he works very, very hard. And I do think Anthony will be a big miss for this side. And I know a lot of you have said, I don't think he's good enough. I don't like Anthony and all the rest of it. But I think we will see when Anthony's out of the side how much we struggle defensively on those wings. I really do. But let me know what you think about that one. And just to be very, very clear, this Anwar El-Ghazi story seems to be coming more from the agent side than the club side. So it looks like his agent is pushing for him to come to Manchester United. And as you guys can probably all guess, try and guess in the comment section what other club Anwar El-Ghazi's played for. He's played for Ajax. So he will literally be Ajax FC before you know it. He was at Ajax in 2017. Let me check. When was Erik ten Hag there? Was that in 2017? Yeah, so he was there for 1 year when Erik ten Hag was there. He left Ajax in 2017. So he has played under Erik ten Hag before, which is it's a recurring theme, isn't it? That half of our team now are ex-Ajax players, really, aren't we? We could be Ajax United and people wouldn't even, blink. The thing I will say about all of this, all right, because I know people are going to come in the chat and say, what is Erik ten Hag doing? Why is he bringing in all these, people from Eredivisie, like Eredivisie rejects and all the rest of it? I think we have to give every one of Erik ten Hag's signings a chance because he's earned that respect from us. He has, after what he achieved last season, right? To get us third, to win a trophy, and to get to the final of the FA Cup was beyond my wildest dreams. It was. I did not expect that. I didn't even think we'd get top 4 last season. I really didn't. So he has my respect. He has my trust. But that doesn't mean I'm not completely deluded, right? I'll give all these people a chance. But if it doesn't work, it's ultimately Erik ten Hag's job who's on the line, right? Because if he brings in Anwar El Ghazi and gets rid of Jadon Sancho and it doesn't work, then it's on him, isn't it? You know, I'm not going to in 2 years' time say, oh, it was great that he brought in Anwar El Ghazi, you know, if he flops. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'd obviously say that was terrible recruitment by Erik ten Hag. Why did he do that? He should have, you know, pushed for a better player and all the rest of it. But I will give everybody a chance. I'm not going to be unfair. I'll give them all a chance. Obviously, I'll trust Erik ten Hag. But obviously, again, like with players, if that trust gets lost, if he brings in 4 or 5 players who we all are sat there saying, scratching our heads saying, why has he brought this person in? And then it doesn't work out. Then obviously at that point, you could maybe start asking questions. But yeah, I know Anwar El Ghazi is not a name that you should be really excited about, but it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, though. Let me know what you do with Jadon Sancho. Let me know whether Anwar El Ghazi is a suitable replacement for you. For me, it's no, but I assume 99% of you would say the same. But let me know your thoughts. Right, let's move on to the next story. I just wanted to highlight something really, really quickly before we move on to the rest of the show. And it's something really positive because I do like to bring positivity into these shows. And I just wanted to, you know, give a moment to shout out Bruno Fernandes, right? Bruno Fernandes got 3 assists and a goal last night for Portugal. In his last 10 games for Portugal, including the World Cup, he's got 6 goals and 8 assists. 14 goals and assists in 10 matches for Portugal. Unbelievable. What a player we've got there. And you know what? Bruno Fernandes is exactly the opposite of what Jadon Sancho is, okay? I would say that when Bruno came in, he was probably regarded in a similar vein as Sancho, right? When they both got brought in, I would say that Bruno and Sancho were probably on a level playing field. You see Bruno come in, though, and give 150% every single game. I don't remember a single game where Bruno hasn't given 100% plus. He doesn't, ever. Even, you know, he always tracks back. You know, you can see he's got that passion. He works hard. He gets assists. He gets goals. He contributes to the team. And I think we've got literally a world-class player there. If you go on SofaScore, right, his rating for the game last night was 10 out of 10. I don't think I've ever seen that in a football match before. He literally got a 10 out of 10 rating on SofaScore. So big ups to Bruno Fernandes. Unbelievable player. And it just, as I just said, guys, it just shows what can happen if you apply the right attitude, the right mentality when you join Manchester United. You don't think you're bigger than you are. You come in, you work like every single other player. And that's how Bruno's reached the levels that he's at. And I'm just so happy we've got a player like that. I'm so happy that he's our captain because I think that he is exactly the image that the other people in the team need to look at and think. I know people say that he's a bit petulant. I get that. I don't have a massive issue with it, to be honest. I only have an issue with it if he starts getting loads of yellow cards, which we have seen this season. But generally, I like his passion. I like his petulance. I think it does work a lot of the time. He just maybe needs to refine it slightly because I think some people have kind of worked him out. Everybody who's watching the show this morning, please do smash a like on the channel and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. It doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. It really, really helps the channel to grow. So please go and do that. We're only 50 subscribers away from 18,300. So let's see if we can hit that by the end of today's video. Go and subscribe. I'm going to drop a link in the chat now. And I'm going to read out a couple of your questions as well. So Carl says, if we got Anwar, it's probably only going to be to last until the summer as a bench warmer. Good, really not. If we're going to compete, we need a bench just like City has. They're all starters. Mate, 100%. 100%. City wouldn't go anywhere near someone like Anwar El Ghazi. And the fact that you have Pellistri sat on the bench, right, who I know a lot of you think should be playing. Just remember this, right? Pellistri starts now for the Uruguay national team. He starts. And Uruguay are a decent team. When you look at the team that Uruguay put out, they have a good squad. And he starts, not every game, but he starts most of the games for Uruguay. You know, they've got some really decent players, Uruguay. And the fact that we're even being linked to people like Anwar El Ghazi, when we've got even Ahmad coming back soon as well. I just think it's stupid. I don't get it. You've also got Mason Mount, who doesn't work in that midfield three, in my opinion. We've got to give Mason Mount some game time on that right wing. You know, if you look through Uruguay's squad, they have got some decent players. And Pellistri does start pretty much most games for them. So yeah, for me, don't bother with Anwar El Ghazi. Wait until the summer. Bring in a better replacement. Maybe bring in someone. I know we've been linked to. We were linked to Moussa Diaby, but obviously he went to Aston Villa, didn't he? Right. Let's see what else we've got. Let's see what other people are saying this morning. Mila says, "Will Anthony still earn 200 grand a week sitting in Brazil?" I think he will, mate. Yeah, because the thing with contracts, right? Unless he gets prosecuted, then at the moment he's still innocent, isn't he? So Manchester United still have to pay him, because this is one thing that Manchester United get criticised on heavily. Teams like Arsenal, they hand out contracts which they have a base salary. So someone like Saka, for example, right? His base salary will be 100 to 150 grand a week. But he has all of these incentives built into his contract, which can allow him to earn, up to 500 grand a week. If he gets a goal, he gets 50 grand. If he gets an assist, he gets 50 grand. All of these types of things, which incentivize these young players to play well. But obviously at Manchester United, we just give out stupid contracts. Like Jadon Sancho should have been in that bracket. He should have got like 150 grand a week, right? And then for every goal, he got X amount. For every appearance, he got X amount. Like that's what should have happened, but it hasn't. And the thing that always baffles me about these contracts, with Maguire, with Jadon Sancho, there wasn't really anybody else looking at these players. Anthony, there was nobody else in the race for Anthony. Yet we give him 200 grand a week when he was only on 20 grand a week at Ajax. It makes zero sense. So the only people you can blame for this are the people that are behind the scenes at Manchester United, the people who do the deals, the people who do the contracts, because, yeah, it is stupid. Carl says, what position Bruno played yesterday? I mean, you saw Eriksen as a 10 in Denmark and was brilliant. Yeah, mate, I think Eriksen needs more game time. I do. I think that, I know a lot of you don't like this, but for the next couple of games, if Anthony's not there, I would probably get Eriksen in the number 10 role and maybe put Bruno on the wing. Probably. Just because I think Eriksen deserves some game time, and I think that we need to have Amrabat and Casemiro as the midfield too. I think we've got to be a little bit more defensive, a little bit more pragmatic, because we need to win games now. We're in a similar situation to last season where we need to go on a run of like 5 or 6 games of wins, because if we don't beat Brighton on Saturday, then our season's going to have started off worse than it did last year, which obviously isn't acceptable. Like, let's just have a look at our fixtures together quickly, right? So we've got Brighton at home on Saturday. We have to win that, 100%. It's a very difficult game. I was at the game last season where we lost at Brighton, the first game of the season, and Brighton are a very good side. I would say, right, that Brighton played better football than Manchester United at the moment in time. And I think the same last season. Brighton played some incredible football last season. They really did. So that's going to be a difficult game, but we have to win it. Then we've got Burnley away, which again, we have to win. We've then got Crystal Palace at home. So we need to win all 3 of these games, 100%. And if we win all 3 of these games, I'm not going to be sat here saying we're going to win the league. We need to win all 3 of these games to get top 4, in my opinion. I know people are saying that if you get 5th, you might get Champions League, but I think we've got to aim for top 4. I think we've got to at least, aim for that. And then if we don't get it and we, by merit get 5th and get Champions League, then fine. But yeah, for me, yeah. Saf says we will not beat Brighton with Bruno on the wing. Yeah. Fred says, why not drop Bruno and play Eriksen? I mean, that is an option, mate. It is. But I just don't think that Bruno will be dropped. I don't. This is the thing. This is what I'm getting at. I think Erik ten Hag does pick people based on the effort and how much work they put in, Anthony, all of you are putting a question mark over his head saying, he's not good enough, I don't like him, Pellistri should play. But he does work hard. And I know that that isn't everything in football. You've got to be skillful, you've got to get goals, you've got to get assists. But that is something that Erik ten Hag looks for in his players, is somebody who works really, really hard. And Anthony does do that. Let's see if we've got any other questions coming in quickly. No, right, no more questions. We will continue with the rest of the show. Right. Where are we? Okay, let's talk a little bit about... Now, this is a story that I really, really like. This is coming out from a couple of different journalists over in Portugal this morning, and it's surrounding Antonio Silva. Now, for anybody who's been watching the show throughout the summer, this was a player that I talked about on multiple occasions. He is an unbelievable... He's 18 years of age, Portuguese centre-back, plays his football for Benfica, and I'm telling you, in the next 5 or 6 years, he's going to be one of the best centre-backs in world football. And I'm confident of it. He is unbelievable. He's already played like 50 games for Benfica, and he's only 18 years of age. He's played in the Champions League. He's played in all sorts of different competitions, and he is unreal. Anyway, the reason that we're bringing him up this morning is that, so this is coming out from 2 different journalists over in Portugal, and they are reporting this morning that Erik ten Hag wants Benfica centre-back Antonio Silva. Ten Hag believes Silva would add quality competition and fit perfectly into his plans. Now, I completely endorse this. I think this will be literally a signing for the next 15 years. He's literally just turned 19 years of age. He's already in the Portuguese national team as well. He's played 5 times for the Portuguese national team at the age of 18. He starts for Benfica every single match as well over in Portugal. Unbelievable player. If you haven't ever seen him play before, go and watch some clips of him, or next time Benfica are playing, go and watch this guy, because honestly, he is the real deal. And I'm excited that we have been linked to him. I know it's still early days, but we will obviously go for a centre-back next summer. So last season, right, he played 46 games for Benfica at the age of 18. 46. That's more than Harry Maguire. That's probably about double what Maguire played. And he also gets goals as well. He got 5 goals, 5 headers. He's very tall, very physical. So he's one for the future. He's one to keep an eye on. Obviously, this would be a signing for next summer. But I do think that a new centre-back is absolutely essential. And I am happy that, we're starting to get these links to centre-backs for next year, because Maguire needs to go next summer. And Varane will probably need replacing next summer, because at that point, he'll have 1 year left on his deal. We can clearly see that Varane's injury prone now. When he plays, he's world class, but I don't think he plays enough to warrant being, the starting centre-back for Manchester United anymore. I think he's fine for the next year. I've got no issue with that. But if you look at Varane's injury record since he's been at Manchester United, and if you look at his injury record at Real Madrid, it's a big issue. It is. And I know a few Real Madrid fans who said when we signed him, they said he's a world-class player, but he's injury prone now. And I said, no, it'll be all right. And obviously I'm now having to kind of eat my words a little bit. But let me know what you think about that one, everyone. Who do you think should be Manchester United centre-back next season? Would you go for Jean-Claire Todibo, Antonio Silva? I mean, maybe you look at someone like Tomori from AC Milan. Let me know what your thoughts are. Mila says, how much can Manchester United spend in January? I mean, at the moment, mate, probably not a lot. But the thing you have to remember is, right, it looks like Sancho will leave. Okay, so that will hopefully be some money. Donny van de Beek looks like he's going to leave in January. He's not going to go now. It all depends. If we get new owners in, I would expect us to be able to spend anything between 50 to 100 million in the in the January transfer window, because the key thing you have to remember is that Sheikh Jassim, if he joins Manchester United, will clear the debt. If we clear the debt, it will allow us to spend around £40 million extra per season based on our financial fair play rules, because obviously at the moment we have to service the debt that's leveraged against the club. We have to pay off the interest on the debt, which is all money coming out of Manchester United's pocket. So it will make a difference. I would say, in short though, 50 to 100 million would be our budget for January if we get new owners. If we don't get new owners, I would say probably next to nothing. Maybe 50 million tops if Sancho left, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Henrique says, have you heard any news of Kobbie Mainoo and when he's expected to be back in training? Yes, we have actually. So there was a story on the Manchester Evening News yesterday saying that apparently Kobbie Mainoo is expected to return for the game against Brighton. Now, obviously, we'll have to wait and see what Erik ten Hag says in this press conference, which will be on Friday, I believe. We will be doing a live reaction to that press conference, of course. But yeah, at the moment, what's being kind of floated around in the press is he'll be back by Saturday, Kobbie Mainoo, which is amazing. Really, really happy. Really, really happy about that one. Would he start? No, I don't think so. I think he'll probably take a few games to get back to full match fitness. And now that Sofian Amrabat's come in, I think that it will be a while before we see Kobbie Mainoo starting every single game. I don't think it will be this season. I think he'll slowly get more game time this season, and then I would expect next season to see him kind of become a prominent figure in that first team. Obviously, if Amrabat hadn't have joined, maybe then he would have got more game time. But yeah, I can't see him getting much game time this season, to be honest with you. Right, what have we got? Carl says, it doesn't feel like we can buy young players. Erik ten Hag doesn't play them. It's frustrating. Mate, I 100% agree with you. 100% agree. Like, I don't see how any young player would come to Manchester United. Although somebody like Antonio Silva, yes, he's young, but playing 45 games in one season for Benfica, that is not normal. That's not your average 18-year-old. But yeah, people like Pellistri, Ahmad, they come in with all of this really big excitement around them, and their careers have gone backwards. I think that any young player looking at Manchester United now would probably be a little bit concerned, generally. If you're somebody who isn't a first-team player for your team already, which most young players aren't, then you look at Manchester United and you think, if I go there, I'm going to get even less game time than what I'm currently getting at my normal club. So yeah, I do agree with you. It's a difficult one. Right, let's talk a little bit about this shirt sponsorship then, because this is quite interesting. As I said, I'm really interested in all of these types of things. Now, obviously, at the moment, we're sponsored by TeamViewer, which is a rubbish sponsor, I think. It's very ugly. I don't like it on the shirt. So apparently Manchester United are in advanced talks with American company Qualcomm to replace TeamViewer on the front of the jersey. United are asking for a £60 million a year deal for the sponsorship. So, I mean, 60 million is obviously a hell of a lot of money. At the moment, Manchester United get £47 million per season from TeamViewer. So it'd be an extra £13 million per season in the bank for the shirt sponsorship. The story says this. It says Manchester United in advanced talks with US firm Qualcomm, subsidiary brand of Snapdragon, to become front of shirt sponsor. Expected to take over from TeamViewer at the start of next season, and Manchester United are targeting £60 million per year. This is coming out from The Athletic. It goes on to say that it would be decent value for Manchester United after striking TeamViewer deal in the pandemic at £47 million, which was good for pandemic economic. But weak by usual standards. TeamViewer have been seeking a way out for quite some time now, and this allows them to exit. And then goes on to say, between this and Adidas dropping almost £1 billion on Manchester United, it is quite remarkable how robust the club's brand remains in the face of very many things. Sponsors clearly take a long view and underlines global reach of Premier League and Manchester United. So Manchester United are still working on these deals, and I've seen a load of people on Twitter getting really, really worried, saying, you know, why would we be doing a new shirt sponsorship if the Glazers were leaving? And I get it, but I think Manchester United still have to plan. You know, if Manchester United say, oh, we're not going to do a shirt sponsorship because new owners are coming in, it weakens their negotiation hand with Sheikh Jassim, with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. You know, if they wake up this morning, right, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe was planning on Ineos being the shirt sponsor, or Sheikh Jassim was planning on Qatar Airways to be the shirt sponsor, right, and they see this story in the press saying that Manchester United are about to agree a new shirt sponsorship, they're going to all be like, you know, it's going to make them think, and it's going to make them maybe a little bit more panicked and a little bit more inclined to try and do a deal. So I think that it doesn't really make a big deal of difference, personally. I think, obviously, it's good. It's a £13 million increase, but, you know, this is from next season. It hasn't been confirmed yet. And obviously, if a new owner comes in, they might just say, no, we don't want to do that. We want to do it to be Qatar Airways. We want to do it as Ineos. So, yeah, I think I'm interested in it because it lays a bit of a benchmark of what we can expect for next season by way of shirt sponsorship. But let me know what you think about that one. Who would be, right? I want you to give me two thoughts. I want you to let me know who would be your dream shirt sponsorship. So if you could have any sponsor on the front of the Manchester United shirt, who would be your dream shirt sponsorship? Let me know in the comment section. And I also want you guys to let me know what's your favourite sponsorship of all time for Manchester United. Mine would be either Vodafone. I love the Vodafone shirts, or potentially Sharp. I like the Sharp one. So yeah, for me it's either Sharp or Vodafone. But let me know what your favourite shirt sponsorships ever were, and also let me know if you could pick any shirt sponsorship, who would it be? Everybody who's just tuned in, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel. We're only 30 subscribers now away from 18,300. So please do go and subscribe if you haven't already. And do let me know. Yeah, so people are saying Sharp. People are saying Qatar Airways. Air Jordan, somebody says. Yeah, I think Qatar is obviously the most popular one, isn't it? Qatar Airways, because that pretty much means that Sheikh Jassim would be taken over, doesn't it? And I know that's what obviously the majority of you guys want. Yeah, right. Everybody's saying Qatar. Yeah, Will says the Sharp shirt was the best. Yeah, those were the kind of ones of my childhood, Sharp and Vodafone. Those were like the two iconic ones. So yeah, for me, I agree. Sharp number one, Vodafone number two. Right, let's move on to the next story though. Let's keep things moving. Where are we? I just want to go back to the El Ghazi thing really, really quickly. I saw people talking on Twitter and they were like, I would genuinely rather Jesse Lingard than El Ghazi. I mean, that just shows the levels that we're at, doesn't it? That, you know, Manchester United fans are genuinely that upset about this link to El Ghazi that they'd rather bring back Jesse Lingard. I mean, I don't disagree either, to be honest. Kerwin says the past is the past. Right now, it's about Qatar Airways. Yeah. Somebody says Microsoft or Xbox. Yeah, I mean, that'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? Obviously, was it Arsenal who was sponsored by Dreamcast? That was pretty cool. And obviously, Fiorentina was sponsored by Nintendo, weren't they? Like many years ago. That was pretty sick. Somebody says the Sidemen. Somebody says dream sponsorship would be Apple, easy 100 million a year. Yeah. I'm going to read out a couple of you guys' questions in a minute as well. So if you have any questions, get them in the chat now. We've got about 10 minutes left of the show. Get your questions in and I'll read them out in the last 5 minutes. Just seeing if anybody's put in any questions already. Henrik says, still not buying a shirt until the Glazers are out. Yeah, 100%, mate. Definitely not going to be buying any shirts. Do you know what's funny as well? I just wanted to throw this in the mix. You know, Manchester United haven't been able to sell a single Rasmus Højlund shirt yet because they haven't got the O's with the, like, you know, it's like the Danish O with like the line for it. They haven't got any of them, so they can't print his name on a shirt. I mean, how much of a joke is that? They knew that they were signing him for weeks, and they haven't been able to get the O with the line for it. So you can't actually buy a Rasmus Højlund shirt at the moment because they haven't got the O's to do it. I mean, that's ridiculous, isn't it? We got. Mila says they have the players who can play. How many 16-year-olds does City play? I'm not sure what you mean there, mate. Right, let's read out a couple more bits of news, and I'll come back to the live chat in a minute. So if you do have any questions, get them in now, and I'll read them out before the end of today's show. I want you guys as well to let me know what your score predictions are for the game against Brighton. People talking about Balabi. Yeah, we'll talk about him really, really quickly. So there was a story coming out last night saying that apparently Manchester United have been offered Balabi, who's obviously from Bayern Leverkusen. He's a free agent now. He's 33 years of age. I would prefer him to El Ghazi, that's for sure. So the story says Manchester United have been offered former Bayern Leverkusen winger Karim Balabi, who is available as a free agent. Oh, I don't know. Again, if it was for like a 6-month loan, yeah, maybe go and do it. Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather sign him than El Ghazi. Like, El Ghazi is not good enough for Manchester United. Balabi was a good player for Bayern Leverkusen. I don't know how good he is now. I haven't seen him play for a few years, but yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. Let me know what you guys think. At the moment, it's still just early links. There's no, you know, concrete talks between Manchester United and Balabi, but I guess United are closely monitoring what's happening with Anthony. They're closely monitoring what's happening with Jadon Sancho, and maybe they will have to go and do this deal because obviously Amad Diallo is still injured, and then Pellistri. If Pellistri doesn't get game time now, I don't see the point in keeping him because he's never going to play. You know, what's the point in keeping him and not playing him? This is Pellistri's chance, so hopefully we see Pellistri on Saturday. Carl says Jesse is still a free agent. Yeah, he is. Carl says, but he really isn't cut the Premier League. He should go to Turkey and end his career. Yeah, I would probably say that Jesse Lingard will either go to West Ham. I think he's training with West Ham at the moment. I reckon he'll probably go to West Ham, maybe if it's just for 6 months. Yeah, I think that would be a good move for everybody, really. But let me know what you think about that one. Everybody's getting in there. Yeah, somebody wants to know about the music festival. Okay, cool. I'll talk about that really, really quickly before we end the video. So, obviously, as I said yesterday, I wasn't live on Saturday or Sunday this week because I was running an event in Bristol, a music festival. It's a 2,000 capacity music festival that we do every year. This is from my day job, I guess. I don't really know. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it's my day job. It's my own company though. It's my own brand, if you want to call it. I'm putting a link. I'm putting a name of it in the chat. So if anybody who's interested, you can go and have a look on Facebook. Sorry, not on Facebook. Just type it in on Google and you'll see all the information. But it's a one-day music festival in Bristol. It's all dance music, 2 stages. 2,000 people. Over 20 DJs playing, really, really big thing. We do it every single year. So that was why I was offline on Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, it was really, really successful. Beautiful weather. It was like 28 degrees, really, really hot. Everyone had a great time. Nothing but positive feedback. But obviously, as you can imagine, the amount of stress and work, it's about 7 or 8 months worth of work putting on this event, right? A lot of work. So I was really, really struggling to get everything together for it. So I just had to take a couple of days off just to focus on it because there's so many things, you know, that you have to think about with an event of that size that I just thought, yeah, trying to do videos as well would have been too much. So I do apologize to everybody who was, you know, here on Saturday and Sunday looking for your usual shows. I do apologize for that. But as I said, sometimes things like that just have to take priority. And do you know what's crazy, right? I said to one of my friends, that was the first time since we've started this show that I haven't done a live video in 4 or 5 months. Absolutely mental. 4 or 5 months, every single day we've spoke together on a live show. Like, that's crazy, isn't it? Even when I went on holiday, I was doing like 2 live videos every single day. So yeah, but yeah, big ups to everybody who's part of this community. I really do appreciate all of you. Max says, what music and what is it called? I've just put I'll put a link to the Instagram in the chat. So yeah, it's dance music. It's all electronic music. It's all DJs playing, so it's more, you know, DJs than live music. But yeah, we do it every single year. We'll be doing it again next year probably. There you go. I've just dropped a link in the chat for anybody who's interested. Fred says you abandoned us. I know, mate. I should have live streamed from the event. I mean, that would have been, you probably wouldn't have been able to hear me because it would have been so loud. But Carl says we can't forget that Amad Diallo is a comeback, and if he plays the last half and does like he did in the championship, we have a good right winger without Anthony. Yeah, I agree with you, mate. I love Amad. I think he's quality. So I hope that Amad comes back, and I hope that he, you know, he gets the chances he deserves. Right, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us this morning. I will, of course, be back at 6 o'clock for the usual live show. If anything breaks during the day, I always go live, as you know. So please do make sure you smash a like. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. This has been Daily Red Devil. I've been Kieran, and I'll catch you all later.